IREN stock slid on Tuesday, falling by about $1.12, or roughly 1.65%, to close at $66.83. In after-hours trade, it gave up a further 96 cents, finishing the day below $66. Now, on the surface, this looks like a modest down day, but it comes after an incredible run. And in context, it tells a more nuanced story, one that's less about weakness and more about digestion. Because IREN has been one of the most remarkable performers of the year. This is a stock that's transitioned from being seen as a Bitcoin mining play to being re-rated as a serious AI infrastructure company. And that shift was sealed last week when IREN announced a game-changing $9.7 billion deal with Microsoft. Let's take a step back and unpack exactly what's going on here. Over the past year, IREN has been aggressively repositioning itself. It's no longer just a mining company trying to manage Bitcoin price swings. It's evolving into a digital infrastructure firm, one that can supply energy-efficient, high-performance compute power to major hyperscalers like Microsoft. That's a big deal. Literally. Under this new agreement, Microsoft will lease AI-ready data center capacity from IREN's Childress, Texas facility. The project will be powered by Nvidia's latest GB300 GPUs, and it's being billed as a multi-billion-dollar partnership, around $9.7 billion over 5 years. That number alone sent shockwaves through the AI and data center space when it was announced. It signaled that IREN isn't just part of the AI infrastructure race, it's potentially one of its emerging leaders. So what happened today? Why did the stock pull back if the news is so positive? Well, part of it is simple market mechanics. IREN shares have surged massively in recent weeks, several 100% year-to-date. After such a steep run, a little profit-taking is natural. Traders lock in gains, momentum cools, and prices retrace to find equilibrium. It's the market's way of breathing out after a long inhale. The other factor is the broader market itself. Tuesday was a generally negative session for equities. Tech and AI names in particular saw pressure, as investors rotated out of high-growth stocks amid renewed chatter around valuation. IREN, despite its unique catalyst, got caught up in that drag. But that's where context matters. There's no indication of any new negative headline specific to IREN. No downgrade, no delay, no bad press about the Microsoft deal. In fact, the underlying story remains every bit as strong as it was a few days ago, if not stronger, because the market is still digesting what this partnership really means. When you think about it, a $9.7 billion contract is transformative for a company of IREN's size. This is revenue visibility, scale, and validation, all wrapped into one. It positions IREN as a preferred partner in the AI compute ecosystem, right at a time when demand for GPU-powered data centers is skyrocketing. That's the long-term narrative. And it's why today's pullback shouldn't be read as a red flag, but rather as a pause. If anything, it could be an opportunity for investors who believe in IREN's evolution to re-enter at a discount. Now, let's zoom in a little on the bigger picture for the rest of the week. We're entering an interesting phase for both IREN and the broader market. The Federal Reserve's stance on rates continues to shape investor appetite for risk, and AI infrastructure names tend to move with sentiment around liquidity and tech spending. If markets stabilize midweek, IREN could easily resume its uptrend, especially as analysts and institutions digest the details of the Microsoft contract. There's also a growing buzz around what comes next for IREN operationally. When will construction ramp up at the Texas site? What's the timeline for GPU deployment? And when will Microsoft begin recognizing that contracted capacity? Those are the next catalysts to watch. Investors will also be paying attention to any hints about further partnerships. If IREN can secure one hyperscaler, it's not unrealistic to imagine others following suit. Amazon, Google, Oracle, all of them are racing to secure AI compute supply, and IREN's model of sustainable, high-efficiency data center development could make it a natural fit for future deals. It's also worth highlighting just how strategic IREN's pivot has been. A couple of years ago, the company was mostly associated with Bitcoin mining, a highly cyclical and volatile business model. But by leveraging its energy expertise, its land, and its infrastructure, IREN has positioned itself right at the crossroads of AI, cloud, and energy efficiency. It's a rare transformation, and markets love a reinvention story. From a chart perspective, you can see that the stock is consolidating after an explosive leg higher. Short-term traders are locking in gains, but long-term holders are likely holding steady. Volume has remained high, suggesting that institutional interest is still there. The key technical levels to watch this week will be around 65 on the downside, that's a natural support zone, and 70 on the upside, which could act as a near-term resistance. If IREN can hold above 65 and stabilize through midweek, we could see buyers re-emerge. Another point that deserves mention is sentiment. IREN has become something of a retail favorite lately, but it's also starting to attract serious institutional attention. The Microsoft partnership has given analysts a reason to start modeling real AI-driven revenue growth. And while valuation will be debated, what can't be ignored is momentum, both in narrative and execution. Remember, when a company transitions from speculative to validated, the market takes notice. We saw that with Nvidia early in its AI breakout. We saw it with Supermicro when demand for AI servers spiked. IREN may be following a similar trajectory, moving from being viewed as an energy-intensive miner to an energy-smart infrastructure provider. So what's the forward outlook from here? In the near term, expect continued volatility. Big gains always attract profit-taking, and technical digestion takes time. We could see IREN trading sideways or slightly lower for a few sessions as investors rebalance. But the underlying trend remains upward. The Microsoft deal is just too significant to ignore. Over the medium term, think the next few quarters, IREN's story will revolve around execution. Can they deliver on the capacity build-out? Can they manage costs effectively while scaling infrastructure? And can they maintain the trust of hyperscaler clients as they grow? If the answer to those questions is yes, then the upside remains compelling. Longer term, the AI compute boom is only just beginning. Every major tech company is scrambling to secure compute supply, and there's a shortage of both GPUs and energy-efficient facilities to house them. IREN's expertise in renewable-powered infrastructure gives it a structural advantage. It's positioned to benefit from both the AI revolution and the broader shift towards sustainable computing. So, when we step back and look at the week ahead, the narrative for IREN is clear. Short-term pressure, yes. But structurally bullish, absolutely. The market may have pulled back today, but the fundamentals haven't changed. Microsoft's deal remains one of the largest AI infrastructure contracts we've seen to date. The partnership validates IREN's model, secures a massive revenue pipeline, and puts the company in a position of strength heading into 2026. And that's where investor psychology comes in. When a stock has already moved hundreds of %, people naturally hesitate to buy. But if the fundamentals continue improving, if management executes, that hesitation can quickly turn into FOMO. We've seen it countless times with other breakout names in the AI sector. The key is patience. Big transformations take time, and volatility is part of the process. So here's the bottom line. Tuesday's dip looks like normal consolidation after a phenomenal run. There's no new negative catalyst driving it, just a bit of market fatigue and profit-taking. The Microsoft partnership remains the headline story, and its scale could redefine IREN's trajectory for years to come. Investors this week should be watching for technical stability, volume patterns, and any follow-up commentary from management or Microsoft about implementation timelines. If the stock can hold support and sentiment steadies, we could easily see momentum pick back up into the end of the week. In short, IREN's fundamentals remain robust, its story is compelling, and despite today's pullback, the path ahead still looks bright. This is a company that's successfully evolving from a niche crypto miner into a global AI infrastructure powerhouse, and the market is just beginning to appreciate what that transformation really means. So while the day-to-day moves might be noisy, the long-term melody here is unmistakably bullish. A partnership of this scale doesn't happen by accident. It happens because a company positions itself in the right place, with the right assets, at the right time. And IREN, right now, looks like one of those companies. We'll be watching how it trades for the rest of the week, but for now, the story remains one of strategic evolution, not decline. Stay tuned, stay patient, and stay informed, because this one could still have a lot of chapters left to write.